Hello, Broncos country. And unfortunately, this is not going to be a happy edition of the Mile High After Party. Only the second not so happy edition of the show this season. The Broncos fall to the Patriots 10-7 in the AFC Championship Game. New England heads to the Super Bowl. Broncos season, as I said, now sadly over. Lots, I think, to talk about in that game. I think I'll start, and this is kind of something I said after the Bills game, but I'll start just because I don't want this to be so dang depressing. I think there's really a lot of reasons to feel happy about the Broncos. And I'll just open it rather on that note. You know, I've been watching this team like pretty hardcore since I was about 7 in like 2006. And this is about as fun of a season as I've ever gotten to see. You know, they're the Super Bowl season, Super Bowl winning season tops it. The season where they had the greatest offense in NFL history tops it. And I really don't think there's much else that does. And that's about a third of the Broncos franchise history. And we're talking about a top 3 season over that span. So we all wish, you know, the season wasn't over yet. We all wish they won that game. We all wish they were in the Super Bowl. But this is a season I'm going to remember forever. It had a lot of different games and moments I'm going to remember forever. And, you know, the win over the Bills, I think, is an all-time classic Broncos win. So, you know, I don't think Broncos fans are leaving empty-handed. That's my little note of positivity. What do you think, David?
Yeah, this season was so much fun, and especially in the ways in which we got a lot of these victories. I mean, what was this? Was this the first one-score loss we've had since like week 3 or something like that? It's
since week 3.
Since the leverage call, yeah. So,
no, week 3.
Yeah, man. Like in terms of memorable seasons for me, yeah, like outside of the Super Bowl years, this has been one of the funnest years as a Broncos fan, man. A lot to be happy about, to be proud about. It's disappointing. Again, nothing is ever guaranteed. Just ask these Bills fans, right? Nothing is ever guaranteed in the future on what happens. So when you got the opportunity to go to a Super Bowl, I mean, yeah, we're down Bo Nix, we're down our starting running back. Of course, our second and third wide receivers basically don't play in the game again. And really, I think this game was decided on 3 different moments or plays. And you came up short in those plays, and that's what the difference was. But really happy with how this team battled, and overall a really fun season and a lot to build upon. I still think that we should enter the season as being one of the top teams in the NFL, and this year is probably just going to go down as the year the Broncos would have made the Super Bowl had Bo Nix not broken his ankle on that final drive in overtime.
The Broncos really only had 1 of 3 at any given point this season. They either had a great defense, a great run game, or a great passing game. There's, I guess, a little bit in that first half of the season where they had both a great rushing attack and a great defense. But then the run game vanished, and it was kind of just the pass game, a little bit the defense. Then the defense vanished, and it was just the pass game for a stretch. And then today the pass game goes missing, and it's just the defense. You know, I wonder if you have a healthy, honestly, they have a healthy J.K. Dobbins for this game, they probably win. If they have a healthy Bo Nix for this game, I think they definitely win. And so this one also definitely hurts. Like I said, I'm optimistic going forward. Russell Wilson was the highest paid player on the team this year. That all is relieved going forward. 2026 and 2027 were always the real championship window years being circled during this Bo Nix build. These were kind of the building seasons, and I both greatly surpassed expectations. That said, when you're in this spot and you are so dang close to a Super Bowl, and they'd be heavy underdogs in a Super Bowl, but they were heavy underdogs to the Packers, you know, anything can happen. I mean, heavy underdogs to the Packers in the Super Bowl. But man, it really is. I'm with you. It's like 3 or 4 plays, moments that'll just live, I think, in Broncos country's head forever. Like I said, the Dobbins injury, I think, is going to be a dang what if moment forever. Nick's injury, that's a dang what if moment. The Stidham fumble. I've seen a lot more angst about the field goal decision. And that one I have a problem with too. I wish they just took the points. The Stidham play is far worse. That is a 7-point swing. The Patriots could not get in the end zone otherwise, could not get points on the field otherwise, really barely could get into scoring position otherwise. And you gift wrapped them 7 points. And it wasn't the only reason it wasn't a defensive score was because the refs gifted the Broncos a lucky call and blew the whistle on it. It should have just been a walk-in defensive touchdown. So I'm totally comfortable fully blaming Stidham for giving that score up. And man, you don't give that up. I think you win this game 7-3. And we're like, man, that was uninspiring by the offense. Great job by the defense, but they got it done. That to me is such a bad play. And it's also so avoidable. Like going for it on 4th and 1 in that moment is a defensible decision. I wish he kicked the field goal. I definitely wish he did a different play call if he was going to go for it, but defensible. What Stidham tried to do, undefensible. You take the sack there. You don't try and shovel it weirdly back. Like, I don't know, man. That one's going to live in my head forever. Those were 2 moments I thought worth highlighting. The field goal, I guess I'll elaborate on. Have a chance to go up 10-0, go for it on 4th and 1, play gets blown up. They don't get it. They didn't score any other points the rest of the day. David, those 2 moments stood out to me. You mentioned a handful though. Are there any others that stood out to you?
Yeah. I'll go 4th quarter, man. Like, I think that field goal was good from Will Lutz had that New England defender not tipped it.
I think that's a good call, yeah.
It's probably a 10-10 game. And we might have been due for another overtime game of the playoff football, man. And I think, New England, they stopped the 4th and 1. They tipped the field goal attempt in the 4th quarter. And even though, they kind of got bailed out, or the Broncos got bailed out by the refs in the sense that they weren't awarded that scoop and score, they still scored 7 points right there. So, when you look at it, Zach, we had 2 missed field goals. One was tipped. And we had 1 field goal that we didn't attempt that I was on my live stream saying, you just take the points. You take the points in playoff football. Like, that's just what you do. And I think of Sean Payton. I mean, you could tell he was just gutted in the interview in the hallway afterwards. I think had he had known that the weather was going to be as severe as it was, he takes those points every single time with the backup quarterback. Like those, when you're playing with a backup quarterback and then the weather's starting to become a factor, the margins are razor thin, and we just weren't good enough on the margins today.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I think has defined the Broncos season, except the other way around. Like they've had a lot of these close games, but in those big moments, like they were the ones getting the crazy takeaway or making the crazy play that totally changed the game, instead of giving it up. And, that really hurts. I agree with the comments here. Rock Walker saying death by inches. Patriots didn't win. Broncos killed themselves. Someone also said almost the exact same thing. I'm bummed. Denver lost. The Patriots didn't win. And I get that sentiment. I think that game was there for the taking for the Broncos. I really think if Bo Nix plays, they win. I think the Seahawks or the Rams are going to annihilate the Patriots. I will say, because I've seen a lot of critique of the play calling, and I'm going to, when we get into our Sean Payton segment here, I've got some criticisms for Sean Payton. I do think they are going home now in a lot of ways because of mistakes Sean Payton made. The field goal, already talked about that. I think the construction of this run game is another. The play calling to me was not a problem today. I hated the 4th and 1 play call, and maybe that's the most costly play call of the game. So maybe we do deserve to criticize him for that. But like in the second half, the MVP runner-up wasn't moving the football in that blizzard. I don't know what to tell you guys. The Patriots defense has been good all postseason, and the Broncos offense really should have put up 16 points, in my opinion, in that first half. I get it's hard conditions, and so Lutz just missed it, but 53 yards, very makeable field goal in today's NFL with the K balls and everything. It's a very makeable field goal. Sutton drops one on the 40. right? That would have set up 1st and 10. Maybe they don't gain any more yardage, but they're like 5 yards away from another really makeable field goal. And that's when the conditions were even better. And then you have, of course, the Sean Payton decision to not take the 3, along with the 7 points they did score. They should have gone to the half with 16 points with a dang backup quarterback before the blizzard started. To me, outside that 4th and 1, I also didn't like the Pat Bryant end around, but you immediately score a touchdown on the next play. Like the issues for me with play calling were few and far between. I think the pass game got really conservative in the second half, but it was a blizzard. The one time they tried to open it up, it was an interception because the wind caught it. You really couldn't throw the ball downfield. Like the Patriots weren't doing that either in the second half. So they just were able to run the ball, and we'll get into that.
I think, when the weather got insane, it's hard to really nitpick any play calling, but I do think there are kind of 2 moments again that I really felt kind of the momentum really shift. Of course, it started with that 4th and 1 call. But then, it's a tie game. We get the ball back, and it must have been for the next maybe 3 or 4 series. It almost felt like we were just doing like an East-West passing game. A lot of screenplays that New England was just timing up on us, man. I mean, they were just blowing it up. And I think Sean Payton kind of going with a conservative pass game before the elements started getting out of control.
That's fair.
Like that's when New England started to get a lot of their momentum. Like we were moving the ball just fine, having Jarrett Stidham push the ball down the field. But as soon as we went away from that, New England started getting 3 and outs on us. And then the weather came, and it really just condensed what you were able to do. So, I think Sean Payton, he'll look back on this, I think, and probably see that.
He'll be kicking himself.
Yeah, like I think he chose to be aggressive in the wrong spots, right? He chose to be conservative in the passing game play calling after, having the game go 7-7. He went aggressive in a way in which, again, you could have gone up 2 scores at home with a backup quarterback. I think I think that decision, man, is going to play in his mind for the rest of the time, man, because I just think it's a different game when you go up 10-0, man. New England's starting to feel pressure a little bit, and you have no idea what happens the rest of the game,
And I agree with that. I'll also say I remember when a lot of Broncos country was mad last week when he took the field goal to go up 10-0 instead of trying to go for 2 or trying to go for it to go 14-0. So I do think there's an element of like, man, can the guy win? I also I would have liked the field goal. The comment here raises a good point. I'm pretty sure the 10 points would have led to us at least getting overtime. And that's true. The touchdown led to them needing another field goal, or to them needing or to potentially losing this game. The missing the field goal there would have been great, could have gotten them to overtime. But in the second half, who was the better team in that game? The Broncos dominated the first half. Patriots dominated that second half. It's overtime. Anything could happen. Bills were the better team in the second half last week and lost in overtime. Who knows? But if that game goes to overtime, I think most people would have been betting on the Patriots to close it out because they were able to do something on offense.
And Drake May with his legs, that was like the biggest factor in the second half.
That Broncos had no answer for it. And overall, I'm thrilled with what the defense did. But I will say, I think the Stidham mistake is the largest one. Patriots have a very good. Patriots put up 21, 24 points on the Texans last week, and they put up, I think, 20 or so on the Chargers 2 weeks ago, and they put up 10 today with 7 points gifted to them by the offense. I don't know, man. It was tough conditions out there. Yes, the Broncos defense is good, but we've seen just about everyone score 30 on them over the last couple of months. In the second half, the conditions were really, really tough. I don't think you were going to have a huge offensive day. All the more reason to take the points early, though. I think we got to get into Stidham. I just want to see if I'm missing any big comments. A lot of people saying Stiddy mistakes cost us. Bo would have won by 20. I think they win this game comfortably if it's Bo.
Yes.
All he had to do is take a sack, and they win 7-3. Fully agree. The other side of the 4th and 1 decision is that a 14-point lead ends the game. And I do agree there. Like, my bigger complaint with the 4th and 1 isn't the decision, but more so the play call. That, I think, was the Broncos' best drive of the game in terms of running the football.
Yeah.
I'd have to like look up detailed stats, but RJ Harvey was getting like 3-4 yards pretty comfortably. I think McLaughlin had a solid run on that play. I forget if it was Adkins or Prentice, but one of them had like a first down conversion on that play. And you get the short 4th and 1. And I don't like, the PA there, I did not think was the right call, especially when the Patriots were kind of blowing up the offensive line here and there. And Stidham just didn't have a chance on that play. It immediately got blown up and he was retreating and plays dead in the water. What did you think about the 4th and 1 there, or the play call there? I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I hated the play call, man. I hated it. And yeah, all you got to do is get 1 yard. We saw with New England's quarterback sneak, all you got to do is just get close to the line, right? And depending on the camera angle, you still might be awarded that first down, right? So, I hated putting the ball in Jarrett Stidham's hands in that moment, man. I just didn't like it. And the offensive line just got absolutely torched on that play, man. Like, it was just too cute of a play call for that moment. If it worked, Sean Payton's a genius, but hey, this is the criticism you get when you're an NFL head coach, man. Like, you got to make the correct calls if you're going to go for it. And that just got blown up.
Quinn Miners, another Bronco who had a really bad game. This Patriots front's good. Who's the guy they got from the Eagles? Milton Williams is a really good player. Barmore, very talented interior rusher. Kyrie's Tonga's like fantastic against the run, one of the best run defenders in the league. That said, I don't think any of them made All-Pro. I don't think many of them even got like multiple votes. Quinn Miners was first team All-Pro, and he got whooped by that Patriots front. I think that was a problem. Stiddy, once he started seeing the pressure, I think really devolved. And I think that's an important next point. We already talked about the one play on everyone's mind. I don't think it doesn't take, I don't know, Sean Payton or some football wizard to come in and tell us that was a horrible quarterbacking play. Beyond that, how did you feel about Stidham today?
He looked like Drew Lock, man. He looked like Drew Lock in this game. Yeah, that one nice throw. But yeah, like once the pressure started getting to him, you could kind of see his feet start to panic in the pocket, hold on to it a little too long, then flush out and throw it out. Like it was a very Drew Lock-esque type of game when Drew Lock just never dealt with pressure very well at all. So, yeah, man, I don't know. The hope that we instilled in Stiddy City this week was amazing. But yeah, once the elements come in, I feel like it's really hard to win with a backup quarterback, man. Really hard to win with a backup quarterback. So didn't score enough when the elements were good.
Yeah, I think it's that simple. Like they had opportunity. It's one of those games, and I'm trying to think of another good example right now, but sometimes you'll watch a game and it's like, wow, we really outplayed them in that half. I hope, honestly, the Broncos had some of this sometimes where it's like, wow, that other team dominated us in the first half, but it's only a 3-point game.
Right.
And it's like in the second half, if it's a little more even, goes a little more the Broncos' way, they can come back. And they were the victims of that today. They should have had a 16-point lead at the half. Honestly, and maybe not all those breaks go their way. Cool. They should have had a 10-point lead or a 13-point lead at the half, minimum. And they didn't. And so they lose this game. And I just, before we finish on the offense, or how do I want to do this? Let me get into, do you want to get into the run game a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about that.
It's disappointing. I think they had to run the ball in this one.
Yeah.
They did try and run the ball, though. They had 20 attempts in this game. I think they had under 100 rushing yards. I think they had way under 100 rushing yards. I'm trying to get the exact number. They had, 24 carries in this game, and they totaled 79 rushing yards. So about 3 yards per attempt. The problem there is not Sean Payton refusing to run the ball in the snow. The problem, and it is still a Sean Payton problem. The problem there is that Sean Payton built this run game, so the only way it would be successful was if J.K. Dobbins stayed healthy all year, and he's never been healthy an entire year of his career, or you hit on your second round pick. And I mean hit in the sense that he can be a bell cow
Right.
back as a rookie. And they didn't hit on the second round pick to that extent. Maybe he's a great pass catcher, and I'm sure he'll have a role in the offense going forward. But they made it so that their only way to having a good enough run game was Dobbins staying healthy all year or Harvey being good enough to carry the load in Dobbins' absence. And neither of those things happened. And I think both were fairly foreseeable. I said back in March, the Broncos need 3 new running backs in this running back room. They wound up with 2. And don't we all feel, or don't we all wish they had one more addition in that backfield now? I said in August, when they even added J.K. Dobbins, or July, whenever it was, man, this is great. I'm glad they finally got this signing done. I hope they do one more, because as good as Dobbins is, he gets injured a lot. And if he gets hurt, you're one injury away from it being all on RJ Harvey. And so I'm not mad, honestly, at Sean Payton for not running the ball more this year. They'd had a bad run game. After Dobbins went down, there's something like 10th in success rate, 28th in explosive run rate. That means they're getting like 3 or 4 yards every carry and not a yard more. Like the Chiefs run game from last season. That's not good enough. And that is on Sean Payton, who's constructing the offense and running the show on that side of the ball. That said, if I was calling the plays, I wouldn't be going more runs. Look how bad that run game is. So.
I know, man. It would be great if we had like Rico Dowdle, man, or for this moment. But yeah, like you gotta draft another running back. I mean, look at the Rams, dude. They got freaking Kyron Williams. He was like a 5th round pick. Doesn't even need to be a high round guy. Just draft somebody again. Because yeah, we picked RJ Harvey with, I think, like the last pick of the 2nd round or close to it. I think he's probably played around what you'd kind of expect, maybe a little bit under, maybe for that sort of spot. But yeah, in those middle rounds, you can still hit gold. You can still hit gold drafting a running back. So we got to take more swings at that position. I'm so over. I've done a 180 on Tyler Bidet from the beginning of the year. So over him. So over Jaleel McLaughlin. Hopefully we can move on and have a new kind of set of backs. We'll see if we bring back JK, but we need some different types, man. We really need some guys who can get some tough yardage, who can help us win in the elements. And like I thought RJ Harvey did a really good job of running the football for the most part with like seeing I mean, these run plays were just getting blown up in the backfield, dude. He's making guys miss. He's running through contact. Like he gave a gritty performance, but yeah, the run game's got to be better all the way around. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some offensive line changes happen, next year with Ben Powers.
Yeah. And I wanted to get that out of the way. I agree. I think Ben Powers is probably gone. Paucho showed enough that I think they'll try and make those savings. Now I will say, I wanted to get the critiques out of the way because 82 KW 82 in the chat. He's calling for Sean Payton's head here.
That's insane.
And I think a lot of it is really silly. And I don't mean to just pick on you, KW, because it's a sentiment I've seen around Broncos Twitter in the wake of this game. I think it happens after like every Broncos loss.
Yeah.
And it just is like the behavior of all the worst owners in the NFL. It's just hyper emotional, wildly illogical. Yeah. The Broncos aren't in this game with Sean Payton. Realistically speaking, like with an average head coach, they're probably a 9-win team. This team's highest paid player is a quarterback that got benched by the New York Giants this year. That's the Broncos' highest paid player is a guy who got benched by the New York Giants. They got extremely minimal contributions from their rookie class, which is like cheap talent, a way to make up for something like the Russell Wilson contract. And they win 14 games, tied for the most in franchise history. They beat a Bills team that a lot of people were picking to win the Super Bowl. And then with a backup quarterback, they barely lose. We just laid out all the sliding doors moment that could have had them win this game in the AFC Championship. And like it's stupid. I'm going to be honest, dude. Look at Sean Payton playoff history. Dude is trash. One good year. He's 11th in NFL history in playoff wins. He's 11th over the last, like everyone's talking about Mike Tomlin and his playoff drought, right? And Mike McCarthy's only got one playoff win over that span. You know how many Payton has over that span, even with a year out of the NFL? 4. He's got 4. What are we talking about,
dude? If you can't win with Sean Payton, who are you going to win with, dude? There's like 3 other Super Bowl winning coaches active right now. That is the most ridiculous thing, KW, I think I've heard you say all season. I know you're upset, but separate yourself, dude. We lost by 3 with our backup quarterback, man. That's crazy. That's insane.
Look at what he's done for this team. Like they were winning 6-7 games a year. I didn't mean to do that, but they were winning like 7 games a year. And then, and then he comes in and they go 10 wins and then 14. And he hurt them today. It's like, it's not either like he's a deity and a god that like, well, there's nothing wrong with Sean, or he needs to be fired. That's insane. Like he hurt the Broncos today. They also almost definitely are not in this game without Sean Payton.
Dude, we won 15 games this year. That is winning.
They have the most comeback wins in NFL history. Do you think, I don't know, maybe coaching played a role in those close games?
Yeah. NFL games are decided by 1 score. We found that out again. Dude, we were fantastic this year in those situations, dude. I don't know how Broncos fans can look at just the absolute garbage we've had at head coach over the last, 10 years and have anything to say other than Sean Payton wasn't good today. But to say this guy needs to be fired is absolute insanity. Do you see what all the other franchises in the NFL are dealing with? They're hiring guys like Kevin Stefanski. Pittsburgh just moved off of Mike Tomlin for freaking Mike McCarthy. And you want to get on here and complain about Sean Payton not being a perfect head coach? Are you serious?
I don't know if people are plugged into like national NFL stuff that are watching right now, but the story of the week between these games, the story of the week was how dysfunctional the Bills are. And why was that the story of the week? Because the owner emotionally, after like an incredibly narrow playoff loss, and he's on the record saying this is why he made the firing, emotionally went, I'm angry about this loss. We need to fire our head coach. And now everyone in the NFL is talking about how dysfunctional he is and how, man, are the Bills actually in trouble here? They might have really screwed this thing up. And there are fans saying the Broncos should follow that model. Like, just, I don't know, be serious. How do you lose to the Patriots? They were a 15-3. Actually, they were a 16-3 team. Let me say this again. They were a 16-3 football team. They played 19 games. They won 16. They lost 3. So they were beating a lot of people. I don't know what to tell you, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, I'm wondering if KW might be freaking like 17 years old or something.
And I'm sorry.
He might be, man, because I mean, again, you're down. Let's put this in context, man.
And we'll
yes, you're at home, but you're down. You're starting star quarterback. You're starting running back. Pat Bryant plays 1 series like he does the last 2 games. Troy Franklin doesn't play. And really, the game came down to 3 or 4 different plays. I would say probably 3 different plays that the Broncos didn't execute in. Yeah, there's a lot of criticism for those moments. But, I mean, I had the Broncos. I felt like this was orange-tinted glasses winning the division this year. I think they exceeded everybody's expectations. And, this is a different game, dude. Like, you're not going to, like, if Bo Nix plays in this game, we all agree, dude, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to Santa Clara, man. Like,
that's the other thing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Then I'm glad you made that point because it's so true. They are a fractured quarterback ankle away from playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But,
man, no discussion.
What? Sean Payton needed to splint Bo Nix's leg preemptively or something? Like, that's what we're. It's like there's
fans are just mad, but I mean,
I know, but it's also just, and I will pick it back up. I don't want to get stuck in this, but I know it's a common sentiment around Broncos country. There's a lot of anger with this loss, and they're so far ahead of schedule. I remember when I was telling people about the Russ cut, and I was like before it happened, and like they need to cut Russ. They can turn it around quickly. Hey, if they make all the right moves, they could be competing for a Super Bowl in 2026. They were doing it in 2025. They're ahead of schedule. Like, this is awesome. They're going to have a ton of money this year, a ton of draft picks this year. Vance Joseph probably just helped his stock out a bit. Hopefully that gets him another third to try and turn this thing around, or not even turn this, to continue to build. I don't know. I just think here would be my advice. Anyone who wants the Broncos to fire their head coach after a performance like this, or have their head coach give up play calling or whatever, I think you should be a fan of the Raiders. I think they align more with what you want out of a franchise. If you want emotional, illogical, stupid decisions that's going to have the other 31 teams snickering at you, if that's what you think you want your NFL team to do, root for the Raiders. You'll get nothing but that. If you are going to be bummed by a team winning 14 games and making the conference championship, don't be a fan of the Sean Payton Broncos. That's going to be a not fun time for you.
Yeah.
Crazy to me.
Dude, there's nothing that. I'm not really angry at this loss. I'm more just disappointed, man. Like, we had opportunities and we just didn't, like, people aren't talking about this. Was this the first or second drive, Zach, where there was a pick straight in Talanoa Hufanga's hands on their own, 20-yard line? And he dropped it.
That one hurt. And I love this. God, you had to dump 2 feet of snow in an hour. Because I think there are so many, the little Jordan Humphrey catch. Like, what happens if that goes differently? The blocked field goal, what happens if that goes a little differently? Sean making a different play call on that 4th down. Sean deciding to kick a field goal on that 4th down. Stidham not gifting them a touchdown. Them making the end of the half kick. Honestly, and then I highlighted this comment because what if there isn't a blizzard? I think one could effectively argue that the fumble got in Stidham's head. I don't think he was the same after that mistake. No. But I also think you could maybe say it was the blizzard. The Broncos didn't get the ball in the second half until the weather conditions were well underway. If it doesn't blizzard, do they keep moving the ball well like they were all first half?
Yes, they're taking deep shots. Marvin Mims is actually usable. But those small speed guys just have no and again, dude, Pat Bryant out, so they're able to just lock in on Sutton. Yeah. It was just bad decisions and some things that didn't break our way. The 4th and 1 spot, right, on Drake May's quarterback sneak. I thought the Broncos stopped that. But again, some of those things aren't going to go your way, we were close, man. And now things can get exciting in the offseason because the Broncos can really start to put work in on the margins with the backup quarterback. All these situations that we're talking about with the weather, you had to be close to perfect in these really big moment margin situations, and they just weren't good enough today.
David, I'm getting a call I have to take. Could you talk about a star of the game really quick, just to buy me some time?
Sorry. Yeah, you're good. Okay. Star of the game. I guess where should I even go with this? I guess I'll talk about a guy's effort that I thought was really great. Let me know in the comments. But I thought RJ Harvey gave a great effort. He was fantastic. He was dealing with a lot of plays being blown up in the backfield, continuing to make guys miss, fall forward. He showed tough running. And honestly, a guy who helped keep us in this game big time was Jeremy Crawshaw. Actually, I'll say he's my MVP in this game, man. Crawshaw had some big time punts, man, to flip field position. Not one bad punt on the day. I guess there was that one touchback, man, but he had some big punts in crucial moments, and he really did help set up this defense and this team for success with his moments. He was fantastic.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think it's even more impressive when you look at the kicking struggles everyone else had. One of them's blocked, so that complicates it a little. But we had 4 missed field goals in this game.
Yep.
And only two or one of those was more from 55 yards out. And I think in nowadays NFL, if it's 55 and in, the expectation is you hit it. You had 3 such misses today. Again, one's maybe blocked, but those conditions clearly played a factor. Crawshaw was nails, and he had one just barely bounce out of bounds for a touchback that could have been inside the one. They had that one really weird play where they're on their own 8. May goes back to hand it off to Stevenson, and like Stevenson falls, and then so May just had to crumple up. That moment, I was like, that could have been the moment that changed the game. If I don't know, it just goes a little differently, and or if maybe the Broncos compound that with another loss of yardage and get a safety or something. And that was only set up by Crawshaw, so it's a niche pick, but I think it's a good one.
Yeah, he was great on defense, man. I don't know if there's really anyone that I would say the star of the game. I just felt like, you wish they could have forced a turnover, but overall, man, when you give up 10 points, like that's a winning effort. Like I thought that they played fantastic, and 10 points in which one of the drives was 7 yards or something crazy like that, that, they were getting pressure. I think they sacked May 5 times or so. Yeah, again, this is a totally different game, and these margin moments that we're talking about, I don't think they matter at all if Bo Nix plays in this game. And I think this really came down to really that. Jarrett Stidham, as much as we tried to believe. Stiddy City. Yeah, he's not Bo Nix.
Yeah. And I also think like this was a really hard spot for him. I saw some people saying the Broncos should like move on for him or find another backup. And I don't think it was that disastrous of a performance. I honestly think he played better than Drake May in this game, save for the running ability.
Yeah.
As a quarterback, he was better than Drake May this game. So I don't think it's, I guess, outside of the one disastrous mistake. And that he lost the Broncos the game. He deserves I get it. But I also don't throw the baby out with the bath. Man, Sean Payton made some bad calls today. He's also the reason the Broncos are at the top of the AFC right now. Man, Stidham lost him the game today. He also outperformed the MVP runner-up. Maybe, it's just not everything has to be the strongest possible reaction. For my star of the game, I saw someone comment it. I'm going to go Dre Greenlaw. I thought he was really great today, just flying all over the place, making his impact and presence felt. Hopefully they get that a lot more next year. Greenlaw at his best, I think could be, or not even Greenlaw healthy, could be a transformational piece for this defense. And they just haven't gotten to enjoy that this season.
Yeah.
That definitely hurt. I'd also like to give some love for Surtain really quick and just the secondary in general. That'd be my other star. I thought the coverage in this game was so dang sick. It felt like I was watching the Seahawks. They were smothering everybody. And then the underneath stuff, even when there was an open receiver, it just got snuffed out so fast. And they were physical. They were making plays on the ball. I thought this was as good as the secondary has played all season, if not their best game of the season. And in theory, snowy conditions should make it harder to cover.
Yeah. Again, I love the way this defense played, man. Pat Surtain with a couple big time PBUs. It was freaking Mac Hollins that came up with 2 big catches for them, and then that was it. I freaking hate Mac Hollins. If Mac Hollins doesn't play in this game, is it a different outcome? It very well could have been, but yeah, defense played great. I'm excited that we can bring back the whole secondary, Zach. Again, there's just a few things that we need to address on the defense, but you're ahead of schedule. There's a lot to be excited about. We had a fantastic season, and I can't wait to see we have way less holes on this roster than we thought coming into the season. So I think it's going to be fun to see how we build around that. But yeah, I don't know if I really got much else to say other than, man, this was a classic game. It just didn't go in our favor, man.
It didn't. And I think, I don't know. It's just team's headed in the right direction. I wouldn't blow it up now. Think that seems like it'd be pretty dumb. I don't know. Like even, I'm sorry, Steven, but like we should move on from Sean P. He got us out of the gutter. I'm grateful for that. But we want a dog for a coach. Against the Chiefs this year, he came out of halftime, and when they asked him the question where every coach just gives a nothing answer, he was like, "Yeah, no, we're going to beat the Chiefs in the second half." Like he just said that. Like, who's more of a dog? Like, what, you just want Dan Campbell? Dan Campbell's not available. What are you talking about? Just some of the takes are just.
I just think it's insane, man. It's insane. It's not like Bo Nix played today, but.
Yeah, it's mind numbing. I don't know why. Like, if you are demanding for a Sean Payton firing or a dramatic change off this game, I would just try and think like, what franchises do that sort of thing? Is it
bad ones,
good franchises or bad franchises?
Yeah. Who are we going to hire right now? Andy Reid? Also Chiefs fans have been clamoring for Andy Reid to be fired.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so annoyed about the playoff performance. We're only 1-2 in playoff games, and one of those losses is with a backup quarterback with Sean Payton. This is unacceptable. We have to move on and bring in Sean McDermott and bring in Mike Tomlin. Like, this is just like, I'm sorry, this is a stupid take. Like, I know I'm being mean right now.
Yeah. Y'all really think Gary Kubiak was a better coach than Sean Payton? Come on now.
I tell you right now, if the Broncos were to fire Sean Payton after this, let's just live in fantasy world. If they were, every NFL publication on the planet is talking about how stupid and dysfunctional the Broncos are tomorrow.
They're facts, man.
Just realistically, it's just like, that's why I'm saying be a fan of the Raiders. Not because you're demanding them make good decisions. You're demanding they make suicidal decisions, frankly. Like, dude. It's God, like, man, it would be smarter to trade 5 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Actually, it wouldn't be. That would be dumber. But that's like the only thing I can think of that would be dumber than what you're suggesting.
I just think it's so dumb, dude. It's like, especially at this point, man, who are you going with? You don't fire top 5 head coaches. And you know what? Top 5 head coaches don't win a Super Bowl every single year.
They've taken a step forward every single year.
I know, dude. That's it. You know what? There's just a part of the fan base. They're small, but they're dumb and loud. That's just never going to be happy with how any Broncos season ends, unless it's with the Super Bowl. And they might have issues with how that season went too. I'm sure there was some sort of contingency in Broncos country that was still pissed off somehow about the Super Bowl winning year. The offense didn't look good enough. Peyton Manning couldn't feel his hands. You should have stuck with Brock so he would have stayed. I don't know. Some dumb stuff, man. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Can we close positive, or do you have more gripes to level?
No, I think, I just think, man, this was one of the funnest weeks I've had since starting David Talks Broncos. Like, being on Twitter, all the Stiddy hype, all that stuff was fun. And was it orange and blue? Was it delusion, orange colored glasses? Maybe some of it, man. But hey, we were almost proven right that we could beat the New England Patriots with Jarrett Stidham, man. We came close. There's nothing to hang your heads on. But I think it's time to retire the Jarrett Stidham jersey right here. So I'm gonna rip off this custom nameplate. If you guys want it in the mail, just let me know. But I don't know. I'm ripping some threads off here, but yeah, it's probably better being a Surtain jersey yet again. This was a fun week though, man. It was a fun week.
It was, fun season. Again, I think one of the best Broncos seasons of like the 21st century, like of the post Elway years. There's another year they lost the AFC Championship at home. There's, I think also in a snow game. And there's the Manning years, and then there's this one. And I think, I'd also say, and I said this during the pregame show, but like, how do you remember the Tebow year? And that year was way worse than this one. Do you remember like that they went 8-8 and kind of limped into the playoffs. Do you remember that in the divisional round, they got stomped by the Patriots? Like, do you remember the 8 games they lost in the regular season that year? Or do you remember the crazy wins over the Bears and over the Jets and the miraculous comebacks and the Tebowing and the crazy win over the Steelers and Dave Logan yelling Demaryius Thomas down the sideline? It's the latter. And it's going to be the same way with this season. And I just think that's why any just hyper emotional reaction, it's dumb. It's what bad franchises do. I'm glad Broncos ownership is smarter than those fans. That's all I'll say.
I think the majority of Broncos fans are smart enough to understand, man, this thing is going in the right direction.
Majority.
You know, like again, this year will be known as we get to the Super Bowl with Bo Nix, man. We win this game with Bo Nix. That's what it comes down to. So heal up, and we'll get you some weapons that stay healthy and don't drop the ball, and we'll get you a running back that you can depend on to, really help take the pressure off. So I think that's what you got to do.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put I better.
Yes, the timeout button, the block button.
I was just going to keep arguing that, and it's just like, it's exhausting to me.
I know, I blocked some people in my live stream that were just like ready to fire Sean. I'm like, man, you're stupid, man. You're blocked for being stupid. It's just what it is, man.
I like saying, well, the Tebow year was fun. Like, how are those wins any different? I don't know. I don't even want to argue this, but
Tebow year was so much
right in Denver, and I think that's the point I want to close on.
This
roster is very talented. Quarterback, I think you feel very excited about there with what Bo showed you down the stretch. The running back room needs some tinkering, but it's also like, if you bring Dobbins back and then make one more quality addition, and Dobbins shouldn't be too expensive to bring back, I think you feel great about this running back room. So like, that needs some moves, but they're minor. Tight end might need an overhaul. I bet Evan Ingram gets cut. That should make things a little easier. But that shouldn't be too terrible. Offensive line looks good. Maybe you move on from Powers. I would want to draft someone kind of high, so you're keeping the talent up there, and maybe Paucho buys you a year or something. But still, I think you got to keep investing. The plan there shouldn't just be Paucho. But really, and then receiver, obviously. You hope they make some meaningful additions at receiver. I think the thing to watch for there is that they don't need another guy at pick 60 or 70 or whatever. They don't need another Mims or another Franklin or another Pat Bryant. They need a guy. And so maybe they should be active in the veteran market. David, we'll get to the defense in a second here. Are there any things you're wanting to see from the offense?
I think that really the biggest thing, again, it just kind of ended up feeling like a waste. I don't think Evan Ingram sucks, but he just wasn't prioritized throughout the season. Why sign him if you didn't want to have him on the field?
I think it just was a bad fit.
I think he was a bad fit. So it's frustrating how we couldn't. Again, this is kind of the downside to some of Sean Payton stuff. It's like, sometimes guys don't fit, even though he's a part of making these signings, and you just got to cut your losses and move on. If you cut Evan Ingram, you cut Ben Powers, maybe that's enough money to bring in Cade Otton. That's interesting.
Yeah. I hope they get the talent around Bo Nix. I think they had the right idea this past offseason. And again, they had a great year. It mostly paid off. But if you can just get a good run game, and I really think they were close. They had it until Dobbins went down, and Dobbins isn't Bijan Robinson. He's a good running back, and maybe even an underrated running back, but
he's a top 5 back.
Yeah, Roan 77 commenting Tyler Algier would be a good option.
Yes.
Breece Hall maybe. And these are guys that like J.K. Dobbins. The story on J.K. Dobbins was, he had a great first couple of weeks for the Chargers, but I don't know. I don't know if he's really it. That was the story on Dobbins last year. And then you put him behind this offensive line, and it looks awesome. And I think, Tyler Algier, Breece Hall, maybe even bringing Dobbins back, you can elevate a mid-tier running back to looking like a really good one. I just think next year It needs to be RJ Harvey and 2 dudes you trust to carry the ball for you. And J.K. Dobbins, fine. Another guy on top of that. If Tyler Algier is one of them, fine. Another guy on top of that. It needs to be like Harvey plus a reliable veteran plus another answer. If that means 2 reliable veterans in Harvey, great. If that's a reliable veteran Harvey and a dude you draft this year who you really like, that works too. But I think you just there needs to be, you got to insulate yourself. I think that's a good. Sean Payton has rebuilt this organization, right? They've gone from laughing stock to 14-3, even if some people can't see that somehow. He's rebuilt this team. They're a talented roster, right? They're struggling to get young players on the field now. It's not about like filling these crazy holes anymore. It's about like insulating yourself from worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
I think the one crazy hole on offense is like you need a game-changing weapon. You don't have that dude on offense right now, but that's about it. Outside of that, it's like tinker with the tight end room some, tinker with running backs some. Make it so, hey, if you need to get heavy, you've got the tight ends and the running backs to do it. Like to linebacker, make it so that a Dre Greenlaw injury that seems incredibly likely doesn't screw up your defense all season. You know, it's about just protecting yourself from disaster. And the Broncos now have a big old war chest to keep upgrading this roster.
Oh, dude, yes. Getting somebody like Breece Hall or Tyler Algier would be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go after and get another big-time wide receiver in free agency. That would be awesome.
And that's the thing. Sutton, like, I don't think it's as clear-cut as like, oh, he's not a 1. Like, he's one of the 30 best receivers in the league. He can be a number 1 for teams out there. I think he's a championship number 2. If he's your number 2, awesome.
Yes.
If he's your number 1, I think you're left wanting a little bit. Like, I think it'd be like T. Higgins, kind of. T. Higgins is probably a little better, you know, younger, more in his prime.
Right.
But that type of idea where like, man, or Devonta Smith, man, if that guy's your number 2, whew, that's awesome. If he's your number 1, I don't know. And that's why I'm kind of opposed to the idea of trading for Waddle. That's another one of those dudes. No.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say, David?
Nah, man. I just love the fact that we got quarterback figured out, got left tackle, we got some darn good defensive players on all levels of the defense. So yeah, it's just about, like you said, filling the few holes that we got. And yeah, maybe you draft a running back in the 7th round instead of a basketball player this next year. You know, maybe you do that. Maybe you don't draft basketball players this year.
Yeah. Don't draft basketball players. Don't draft for depth. That was one line. I heard it around KOA a good bit, like even during the season, like a few weeks ago, that, oh, well, they were drafting for depth or whatever. Don't do that shit.
Could have had Kyle Monenga, man.
Don't do that stuff. You need to compete in the playoffs now. Like, I don't know, man. You need every little, it's hard to win a Super Bowl. You need every cog in the machine to be turning. And like Barron, maybe he's awesome next year and that pick ends up looking great. But he didn't give you nearly enough as a rookie for a first round.
No.
Like based on, you expect greater rookie year contributions from a top 20 pick.
Dude, it feels like a Shane Ray pick right now.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great comp. That thought never came to mind. That is a great comp because it even had like similar hype around it and everything. And it's just, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Barron doesn't seem like a knucklehead like Shane Ray.
Right.
But I would advise Broncos country coming away from this game, like keep perspective. I don't know. You could at any point experience another 8-year playoff drought or a 7-year drought of winning seasons. Stuff's fragile. And the Broncos got a good build going right now.
Yes.
They hired the right head coach and they turned around from being that 7-win team to being a 14-win team. So maybe you don't fire them because of one bad game. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're headed in the right direction. Bo, since the bye week, legitimately played like a top 10 quarterback.
Yes.
By some metrics, he was even like a top 5 quarterback. That should have you incredibly excited.
Will he be able to work on his mechanics, you think, still this offseason and with the recovery?
I saw an update from Rappaport this morning or Schefter, I forget which one it was. I think it was Rap Sheet, but they said the recovery time is expected to be 12 weeks.
Mhm.
So that would be 3 months. You'd figure he's back end of April, so that should be right in time for like OTA. What is it? OTAs? I forget what it's called. It's what's after rookie mini camp? Is it veteran mini camp? I forget the order of all that. Whatever. He'll be
mini camp.
He might not be ready for that very first one they do before the draft, but he should be ready right after that.
Okay.
And that should give him enough time to drill it. That needs to be a point of emphasis this offseason. But I don't even know I'm even entertaining it. Like the Broncos won't do it. It'd be so stupid when you've got a promising young quarterback to like fire the guy developing him, let alone how this team's winning and all that.
But it looks ask you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Ask me what you're going to ask me. It might actually align with what I was
if you think Davis Webb, Jim Leonard, Vance Joseph, like, what do you think the future of those guys are?
Great call, David. We should hit on that before we get out of here. I think it looks like Jim Leonard is going to stay in Denver. Now, if he doesn't get a DC job in Denver, I still think there's a very good chance he leaves. But all the other spots, like Dallas, Green Bay, and the Giants, were all tied to him. All three of those teams have now hired other defensive coordinators.
Wow.
There were college teams that called about him last year, and he was very interested, but the Broncos kind of coaxed him to stay around for one more season. I don't know if they'd be able to do that again. I would still anticipate that if Leonard isn't the defensive coordinator, he's gone. That said, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said probably near 0%. And now maybe I think there's like a 20-30% chance he stays. Like I still don't know if it's likely, but I think it's a realistic possibility, even if he's not the DC. VJ is a coin toss. I think the Raiders are interested in him. It sounds like the Cardinals thing isn't happening. I'd lean towards he probably doesn't get hired away, but I don't.
Cardinals isn't happening anymore.
No, the reports are coming out of their like top 3 and everything, and VJ's not in it.
What?
That's crazy.
Do you think that there's a chance we could still move on from him?
I think
even if he's not hired.
I think so. Now, I think today made it a lot less likely. He was awesome today.
Yeah,
he was terrible against the Bills game. I think if today was like the Bills game, he would be gone.
Who is Mike LaFleur?
Brother of Matt LaFleur. He was the offensive coordinator for the Jets Zach Wilson's rookie year. He's been the offensive coordinator for the Rams for a couple seasons. So he's the new Sean McVay guy who's going to get hired.
Oh, man, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, no, it's not exciting. But I'll tell you why it's not going to be Vance Joseph. I don't even think it's like the Cardinals don't like Vance Joseph. Their fan base revolted when all the VJ rumors were coming out.
Really?
And I think, oh yeah, they pushed back crazy. They were like, I'm selling my season. I am canceling my season tickets if you hire Vance Joseph. And I saw that all over Cardinals Twitter. Again, maybe it's the Raiders. I think it's probably unlikely, but I think today helped him out. If I had to bet, I'd say Webb's gone for at least an offensive coordinator job. There's just too many openings, in my opinion. I think Webb's almost definitely gone. I think VJ's probably back, but I could see him either getting hired away or maybe the Broncos firing him. And then Leonard, I think, is probably gone, but there might not be a defensive coordinator seat at the table for him. And so he might just stick around
one more
for
year.
another season. Which would be a absolute boon for this defense. But yeah, I don't know. They've got a really bright future. I've been trying to remind everybody of that. They've got the most draft picks they've had since the Russell Wilson trade, or like the most draft capital, probably the better way to frame it. I don't know if it's the most picks, but most amount of draft capital they've had since the Wilson trade. They're in their best salary cap situation they've been in since the Russell Wilson trade. And with all those handicaps, they built a team that made it to the playoffs one year and then won the AFC West and reached the AFC Championship another year. I don't know. I think if you're going to be unhappy with that, sports fandom is going to be a rough experience for you in general. Maybe bandwagon, because the Patriots have 7 in franchise history, in their 60-year franchise history. So that's 53 years of misery, man. I don't know what to tell you. If you're not going to be able to enjoy seasons like this, buckle up, man. It's going to be a long life.
It's not a good, yeah, it's not a good way to be a sports fan, man. You know?
Yeah. You got a really promising young quarterback, a really exciting head coach, and this team has exceeded expectations each of the last 3 seasons with hands tied behind their back, and they finally got both hands at their disposal.
Yeah.
And I'm jazzed about this team going into next year.
We're going into year 3 with Bo Nix next year, and now the expectation is Super Bowl, man. That's amazing.
If Bo plays like he did down the second half of this year, the run game is somewhere between what it was in the first half and second half of this year. I'm trying to be very mild with these takes. Like, Bo Nix just recreates what he did in the second half of last year. Run game doesn't even have to be as great as it was in first half of the season. Just find the middle ground between the awfulness and the greatness. If they're just middling. And then if the defense just takes a mild step back, not a big step back, I don't even need them to stay where they are. If they just take a mild step back and they're the 8th best defense instead of the 5th best defense, this is probably the best team in the NFL. Like, just, you got a top 10 passing attack. You got a top half of the league rushing attack. You got a top 10 defense. That team is going to contend for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe you shouldn't fire the head coach and start looking for a new one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't call last year's playoff loss like a really tough pill to swallow. Obviously, this one was, and all of our Super Bowl runs, man, they are, they start with just a devastating playoff loss, man. You had Jacksonville 96. You had freaking 2012 with the Ravens. You had 2014 with the Colts. I know I might be missing some, but before, my lifetime. But I would say that this one's up there. Hearing Sean Payton talk at the end of the game, dude, he's just gutted. He's just gutted for the team, and this is one that's going to stick with you. But we can make a stronger run after this, especially with a healthy quarterback.
Yeah, they make the Super Bowl if Bo stays healthy, and it was like a weird freak injury. Future's really bright. Yeah. Do you want to be? Everyone knows the meme of the guy on the bus, or the 2 guys on the bus, and one's looking out the sunny side and one's looking out the really cloudy side and is all miserable. Man, which side do you want to be on that bus? Because this is about, like, just realistically, I don't think you could feel this good about the Broncos. Like, even last offseason wasn't this promising because you still had some of the rust stuff around your neck. I don't think you could feel, and Bo wasn't as proven as he is now. There was still some, I know fans maybe didn't feel this way, but Bo still had to prove himself some. And I think he's done that this year. I don't think you could say you could feel this concretely confident about the Broncos going forward than you could after the Seahawks Super Bowl loss. Because 2014, Manning started to decline. 2015, you were trying to figure out a new quarterback. You had all the years of misery. And then I don't think you've had one this promising since the rebuild started. I think you have to go back till 2013 when the Broncos got shelled in the Super Bowl to find an offseason this promising. I would savor it. It's going to be a long 7 months if you don't.
Void years. Learn them right now, because Bo Nix still got 3 more years left on this rookie deal, baby. Void years. We're going to be using them, and the salary cap's about to explode. It's exponentially blowing up, as you always say, Zach. So I expect us to still stay very aggressive in free agency. I think it's going to be a fun season, off season.
I think so too. That'll just about do it, I believe. But David, you have a business.
Oh, dude, let's get to it. Hey, Kalshi, they've been the sponsor. Last few months, baby. It's been amazing with Kalshi. Even though, guys, we did not hit it. We did not hit it with the Broncos victory in the Nate Root Beer Atkins anytime touchdown bet today. We can still win that back with the Super Bowl pick and whatever NFC team wins this game, because that's what we know is going to happen. So, hey, save us a Super Bowl blowout here in 2 weeks. Fine. That's how I'm going to cope. But join me on Kalshi. $10 bonus when you deposit $10. Links in the description. And we can put some money here very soon on the Broncos Super Bowl odds for this upcoming 2026 season, because it's going to be lit. Nobody's going to stop us, like you just said, Zach Seegers. We were freaking 14-3, and we're just scratching the surface with the potential of this team. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm with it. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. Thanks for supporting the after party all season.
Yeah.
I think the three of us will get back together and maybe do some bow on, like not a BO, but a BOW bow on the season. And
yeah, that'd be great.
Look at once we can get Mike on here and do this thing properly. And also I get like people being upset about the loss. I want to be clear about that. I see the Jim in saying copium, F that, I'm mad AF. It does hurt. This is a loss that stings. I get anybody being upset about this one. I just advise all y'all to keep it in perspective. Like, this was a great Broncos season, one of the best in franchise history. The future is as bright as it's been in more than a decade. So, I mean, past is pretty good. Present, and unfortunately, they're not playing more football. Future looks pretty good. I would try and savor it, but go about it however you want. We will be back. Tuesday? Mario will be back. I'm sure he'll have a good therapy session for all y'all. Make sure you tune into that. And then we'll be back here on Wednesday. Joey, Bree, and me. Final thoughts on the season, maybe some Broncos awards and whatnot. It just sucks. And I will also just add this. I think Stidham did all right. Odds were not in our favor. And I think, if the Broncos did win this game, based on what we saw from Stidham, they probably get waxed by either the Seahawks or Rams. So I don't know. It's maybe okay. But anyways, everybody, check us out. Check out David. David Talks Broncos. His link is in the description of my video. It does great stuff for the Broncos, great stuff for the Buffs. Check him out. Mic'd Up / Mile High Monster. We got that link below too. We'll get him back on here shortly. I'm sure he'll have some takes about this game, so check those out. Till next time, everybody, though, go Broncos, and here's to 2026 being even better.
Go Broncos.